This is Hog Farmer Chris and the 2022 Commanders Fan of the Year. Before you listen to Red Zone and the Lab podcast, I want to thank you for your support in bringing awareness to the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation, which helps children and their families affected by pediatric cancer. You truly make a difference. And with that being said, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube.
We got the Mary Jo White investigation, which is the second outside league investigation, still ongoing. Maybe the Super Bowl, I'm sure, we'll ask Goodell, and Goodell will say she's on her own timeline, which is what he told us in Dallas in December. So yeah, that's still going on. So that's looking at basically two different things. One thing is what we broke the story on last March was on the financial irregularities, potentially holding back ticket revenue from the league and other things. That's one thing. And then there was one allegation made against Dan Snyder for harassment. Those are the two things she's looking at. We don't know when that's going to happen. There's a little bit of there's a little speculation out there that report, some kind of report that we will get, which we've been promised, which we didn't get with the Beth Wilkinson investigation in March 2021. It was like some kind of Fulbright summary report out of Mary Jo White. Now that may not drop until after a new controlling owner, if one is selected, if it goes that way. If the application is put into the NFL and that's headed toward a vote, I think that would be a lot of people speculate that that's when it'll drop. It's not going to drop before there's been a decision on where this ownership thing will go. They also have an investigation by the Virginia Attorney General, which I checked yesterday, still ongoing. The Maryland concluded theirs with a settlement. The other two lawsuits out of the DC Attorney General, which are still ongoing. And then we have a probe by the Department of Justice, which I'm still trying to figure out. I was able to confirm it. ESPN had it first, but I'm just trying to figure out what exactly they're looking at, because I reported financial irregularities, but that's not a specified crime. I don't know what statute that they're looking into as possibly being a violation. I have court transcripts of some cases where Snyder was basically, I wouldn't say testify, but he was under oath for part of some of these lawsuits. There's always potential for perjury or lying to a federal investigator if there was a federal investigator that has interviewed Snyder, which we don't know. So there's no proof that there has been. So there's a lot of things out there we don't know, but we know about those current probes.
What type of impact is that, or does it have any impact on the potential sale of the team?
I don't think it helps or hurts. I think Snyder will have to put some more money aside, probably in some kind of escrow account, if for whatever happens to these investigations. Obviously, even Mary Jo White, I guess, even though they could come after him personally, I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of binding agreement where the new owner won't have to be paying for any of those bills. So they'll create some kind of contract or escrow account to handle that.
Before we get started with the podcast, I want you all to go check out You Grow Girl. That's Grow, GROW, written by a dear friend of mine, Jay Smith. It's for daily affirmations for Black women. It is filled with beautiful, colorful images of Black women and powerful affirmations. You can find it at Amazon.com. Do you think there's any chance he doesn't sell?
There's always a chance. I mean, I have sources. Yeah, I have sources. I have a couple of sources they're not, because this is the reason why a lot of it is because Sarver, the leading owner of the controlling owner of the Suns, after that investigation and his 1 year suspension, some of the bankers thought by the end, of the year suspension, which is coming up, I guess, 7 or 8 months, that he would not offload the team. But it's much different. I mean, he only has like 30 or 40% ownership of the team. He's a controlling owner, but doesn't own almost all of it like Snyder. And also he got some pretty high bids for that stake. So that's kind of that's where people kind of shifted to Snyder. Well, he did the same thing, even though there's no proof that Sarver would have done that. A lot of speculation there. But yeah, there's a lot, just because Snyder, this is what Snyder wanted to own. Growing up in Silver Spring, this is his team. Yeah. He's fought everything. How many lawyers and lobbyists he's spent millions of dollars on just over the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, he's fought, and he's fought Congress. He's fought the subpoena. He's fought everything. And then for him, that's why in November, just saying looking to sell or exploring the options, and then moving towards looks at least as of now, he's looking to sell a decent chunk, if not all of it. It was a major shift, and it's kind of either he's moved on, he's ready to, he knows, the whole, he lost faith with the owners. He can't get a new stadium. He's not this publicly financed stadium. He has some loans coming up in coming up in the next couple of years, and for buying out that 40%. So there's no money pressure. He can refinance those, and that's not the reason. But there's always going to be there's at a certain point, I guess he didn't want to fight anymore. But we can only speculate because he hasn't talked. There's been no comment out of the team for the sales situation since they announced it. And getting anybody that close to Snyder has been very difficult for us reporters.
Thank you for listening to Red Zone in the Lab podcast. Please subscribe to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.